Hello, and welcome back to, well, it's not National Busways South Coast or West Scotland. I'm at Epping, and today I'm going to do something that I've never done before. First of all, this is my face, you can see me. Isn't that odd? And second, I'm doing a tube challenge, because I live in London and I've wanted to do one for quite some time. There's a Central Line train going in a few minutes. But the challenge I'm doing today isn't the whole 270 whatever stations, because that takes so long, I don't have the energy for that. I'm doing something that sort of gained popularity briefly in 2019 called the Snake Challenge, which is the Snake Challenge is the longest route that you can do on the London Underground without going through any single station twice. For the purposes of the challenge, Bank and Monument are two separate stations, so we'll be going through Monument and Bank. I have my little red book, which has all of the information that I would need to do the challenge well. And I'm hoping to get less than 7 hours. So I'm getting the 13:30 train off Epping, and first connection will be at Woodford onto a train to Hainault, then on to Stratford, followed by Waterloo, followed by a whole mess in Zone 1. Which, you know, that's going to be interesting. So, obviously this challenge relies a lot on connections. We go through 128 stations, and we make 32 interchanges, which some of them are quite nasty. We've got Waterloo and Charing Cross coming up, which I'm dreading both of those. Bank should be slightly easier than it was in 2019 because of all the work around the Northern Line and general improvements they've been making at Bank Station in recent times. So you know, Bank is going to be an interesting one to get to. And it also relies, because of all the connections, on the tube running a good service. So I checked TfL Go just before starting recording, and as of about 20 past 1, you know, as about 10 minutes before my train, the Piccadilly line is partially closed. That's due to planned engineering work between Wood Green and Cockfosters, which also means that the Piccadilly line is running no services west of Rayners Lane towards Uxbridge. That's not going to affect the challenge, apart from the fact that the closure has cut off Cockfosters depot. So the services on the Piccadilly line are going to be slightly less frequent, but I believe there's a new an emergency timetable in place for it. There are also minor delays on the Bakerloo, Metropolitan and Central lines, I believe. But, I mean, minor delays can go sort of one of two ways. You either get absolutely messed up by them, or it's totally fine. And sometimes a minor delay on a line can improve your chances of getting a good time, because the train will be there when it's not meant to be. So I think this is going to be quite interesting. I think that's my train pulling in now, so it's going to go in about 8 to 10 minutes. And there's the train before mine going off. Or one of the trains before mine. I have about 15 minutes here, but I've already been here for a little bit. So, I'm looking forward to this. I've never done a tube challenge before, as I said in the intro. And, yeah. Let's just get into this. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll get on the train, and I will, see you as we depart. I'm too high in the frame. There we go. I'm not used to being too tall. Anywho, I'll see you in a bit. So, it is just gone 13:30, and as you can see, I'm on the move. My first tube challenge is underway, and my first connection will be at Woodford. So, about 15 minutes to Woodford. I should be making the 13:50 Hainault shuttle, the snake challenge is very important to time right at the very beginning, because if you get it wrong, you basically get 20 minutes of nothing at Woodford, because you've got to be able to make the Hainault service, which is only over 20 minutes. So, you know, TfL do have some working timetables published, though, which is very, very handy for this. Central Line's current timetable is number 70, and yeah, off to a good start. The weather is lovely. Not that that's going to matter for most of this because I'll be underground, but it certainly is a nice way to start off. I can't get this angled right. Don't worry, for the when I'm filming the running between trains, I've got this thing, so it will be a little bit better. Yes, I will. My first connections, well, my first sort of dramatic connection will be a Stratford, which I'm not even going to push too hard because the Jubilee line, that connection is. I'm not going to mind the gap between the train and the platform. I'm not going to push the Stratford connection too hard because as you don't want to push too hard that early on, especially when you've got Waterloo coming up right after it. That's not advisable. So I'll see you either at Woodford, Hainault or Stratford. So, I'm at Woodford. Changing on to the Hainault shuttle, I've given myself a 5-ish minute connection. So, this one was always in the bag. But when we departed Epping slightly late, I did worry that if we got held, that it wouldn't be so in the bag anymore, but absolutely not at all. Well, look at that GER crest in the seat, that's nice. Anyway, I've just got to cross over that footbridge that you can't see because it's been blown out. I've got to cross over that footbridge and I will be on the correct platform for the Hainault shuttle. So, I'm only at Woodford, and I've already taken my first, albeit small, L. And that is that something may have changed with the Hainault shuttle, and it's not for well, it wasn't for 10 minutes when I got down to the platform, it's probably in 7 or 8 minutes now. I keep getting interrupted. What does it mean getting interrupted by announcements today? Yeah, so I think they've shifted the Hainault shuttle, which is highly annoying. But, I didn't want to take an L this early, but, it could have been 20 minutes, it could have been worse. And I have arrived at Hainault. Now to see if I can use this footbridge. I hope I can. Looks like I can. So, I'm going to get this next train over to Stratford. And hopefully I can make it, because I don't know when it's going. But it's there. So yes. I will see you at Stratford for the first major connection. Excuse me. Excuse me. Great, excuse me.
He rejected every time. So do you have to speak to him through?
Doors will open on the right-hand side. Change for the Bakerloo
There's connection 2. 3 minutes. That's not great. But it means I have time to get to the front, where we want to be. At Elephant Castle. I didn't film a recap of the Stratford connection on the train. It was so busy. But now that I'm here, and it's absolutely deserted,
The next train to Elephant Castle will arrive in 2 minutes.
I guess I'll just run down. Stratford connection, very nice. A little bit of a hold up near the bottom of the stairs, as you saw, but it wasn't too bad. And I can't speak right now. A little bit of a hold up at the bottom of the stairs, but it wasn't too bad. And when I got to the platform, it wasn't going for another 2 minutes, so it wasn't even a connection that I needed to run. However, I was not prepared for how long that connection was. And there's change at Elephant Castle. Not too bad, not too long. I was able to do that quite quickly, and I wasn't waiting for too long.
Elephant Castle. Platform number 2. Any train that says by a plan, that's the train.
Moving on, the train approach to Edgeworth via Bank. Please stand back from the platform edge.
At least Victoria Line's frequent, eh? That was a pretty good run, actually. Oh my god, it's so dusty you can see it. But yeah, that could have gone a little bit better. I would have liked to have made that one, but oh well. We move. I didn't even know which side the doors were going to open on, so this is not too bad.
also with you in hot weather and help others off the train if they are ill, and we can provide better care on the platform. If you get ill while on a train, ask for a seat.
That couldn't have gone much worse.
The next train
I think a district line train had just been.
Service calling at all stations to Liverpool.
But obviously, I missed that because I got caught in the crowds from it.
Use the corner of the platform and let customers off the train first.
It's 5 minutes here, which is not good at all.
Mind the gap, please.
This is here, but
Mind the gap, please.
I'm just gonna wait for the district line. It's in 5 minutes. That's a shame. That is a damn shame. Oh well. I'll see you at my left. That was an absolute blinder of a connection. Very, very happy with that. Just to slow down. Okay. Nearly ran it, I nearly knocked someone over, but we're at Liverpool Street now. Just missed a train, but it looks like there's one right behind. So that wasn't too bad either. That Mile End connection was so good though. Well, it could be worse. Could be worse. 3 minutes. But that connection was pretty fun. Significantly better than it used to be. And I need to be in the third carriage, which is probably down this way somewhat.
Central Line, the next train to Ealing Broadway will arrive in 2 minutes.
Definitely not the worst connection I've had today. That's the entry. Yes. Oh, I'm good at this.
Please take care of the escalators. Stand on the right, walk on the left. Hold on to the handrail, and please do not rush. Ensure you hold all your belongings at all times.
Apart from a little mess up I did at the top of the escalators, an absolutely brilliant connection at Holborn. That could not have gone much better apart from the escalator thing. God, on that second carriage, you want the front carriage. Ideally you want the very front doors, but not a huge deal to be one set back. Onto the Northern Line here at Charing Cross. Probably not going to run this connection so much, because I just had a couple good ones. But of course, I still like to put on a bit of a show. Colindale's shut, don't use Colindale. I believe Kentish Town's also still closed. It's just, you know. Leicester Square, always a nightmare. I always avoid the station if I can, but when it's part of a fixed route, there's naught you can do. And I got confused again. Oh, they moved it. That's why. I probably noted it down incorrectly. Oh yeah, I got that very wrong. Bakery Lane. I don't know where I got that from. Where did I get 4-3 from? Oh. It's a long tunnel now, so I might take this one a bit easy. Seeing as I ran Leicester Square when I didn't need to. Why is that all skewy? Why is my gimbal going all skew? That's not good. Right. Yeah, my gimbal's gone very off axis. I don't know what's going on with that. Looks like if I try, I can sort of right it temporarily. But I am not cut out for this. I also didn't drink enough water. I am dehydrated as heck. Don't do that. Drink plenty of water before your tube challenges, guys. Because this is not the state you want to be in. You want to be able to run this connection because it's relatively easy for its length. The only real drawback to it, aside from length alone, is how narrow the corridor is. And you do feel like a bit of an arsehole having to squeeze past people at high speed. That's nice. Those are some massive fans just circulating air around in that little intersection. That is very, very nice. And this is the same train I would have got if I ran it. So I'm not pissed. I'm actually quite happy. And this is 32361. Very nice. Okay, that was pretty good. I've actually used that little trick over the back of the little corridor at the back of the northbound platform from the Victoria line. So, while I've never run that connection before, I've certainly used the little shortcut. Not that I needed to, because it's in 4 minutes. Which I believe is the third worst connection we've had today. From 10 minutes at Woodford, which was my fault, to 6 minutes at Victoria, which I believe is caused by the minor delays on the Circle line, which is something that developed shortly after I set off, I would presume. But it does mean that we have time to get to the front, which is where we need to be at Tottenham Court Road.
This is Tottenham Court Road. Take care for Customer service update from the control room at Tottenham Court Road. There are severe delays on the Central line due to an earlier cancellation. The Piccadilly line is partially suspended between Raymond's Lane, Uxbridge, Wood Green.
Service off the train before driving to Wood. The next station is going to be Leicester Square. Take care.
Okay, that connection got off to a pretty bad start. I got stuck behind everyone on the Central Line because it was the first on at Oxford Circus. But it's not too bad here. 2 minutes, that's not bad. This goes pretty short.
Customer service update from the control room at King's Cross. There are minor delays on the Central line due to an early cancellation. The Piccadilly line is partially served between Wood Green, Cockfosters, Uxbridge and Raymond's Lane. Please service in the rest of the line.
So that could have gone significantly better. I didn't run the last part because I am zonked. I am. This challenge takes it out of you. It really does. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but Jesus, you need to be in good shape to do this challenge properly. So yeah, I just missed a Metropolitan line train, which would have been amazing to catch. Because the connection onto Jubilee line there from Baker Street is much easier. But as it stands, I've got a Hammersmith and City line train or a Circle line train coming right now. Which I guess will also do.
Keep your belongings with you at all times. And if you see something that you like, start to start.
Jubilee. Right. Oh. Excuse me. Shoot. Okay. Knew that was a gamble. Didn't even put my phone in the sort of gimbal for that. Is there another fast train in a bit? When's the next fast or semi-fast? 5 minutes. When's the next train on the slows? Because of course I'm doing this on a weekday, and even though, yeah, it's a Friday, there's no peak time fares, there are peak time services because people still commute. So, missed that, that's not fun. Next train is on this side in 5 minutes, the next slow isn't for 12. That's not great. But it should mean that I've got some time at Harrow to get a drink, which is good. But yeah, I'm going to check the board on the slows for the next Uxbridge. 13 minutes, I'll have plenty of time at Harrow. Right, I'll see you at Harrow. So, I made it to Rayners Lane. There's a Piccadilly line train in the sidings, or in the centre siding. So, that's all good, I don't need to rush. So, at Wembley Park, there was a fast Met pulling in at the same time as my Jubilee line train. Ah, nice, it's in 3 minutes, that's not bad at all. But yeah, anyway, there was a fast Met pulling in at the same time as my Jubilee line. I ran over to the fast platform to try and make that. Someone even put their foot in the door to see if I could get on, but when he released his foot from the door's just closed anyway. But that's fine. But there was a semi-fast right behind, and they both fast and semi-fast trains going non-stop to Harrow. So I got that. Picked up some drinks at Harrow. And yeah, now I'm at Wembley Park. There was another Uxbridge 1 minute behind the one I got. I'm surprised they didn't hold that, actually. But I'm now getting the Piccadilly line down to Ealing Common. I have thoroughly enjoyed the slow section. It's been a very nice break, and I'm probably way too far down because the Piccadilly line trains are quite short. So yeah, I'll see you at Ealing Common. So, I've made it to North Ealing Common, where Google Maps leads me to believe that I've got 4 minutes. So, that's decent, actually. Voice crack. I am certainly not going to complain about 4 minutes. Especially in this part of town. In this part of town, 4 minutes is not bad. Ealing Broadway, oh, it's 7. That's less good. But still, we're doing alright for time. We're about, I want to say, 4.5 hours in. So, you know, certainly could be doing significantly worse. One stop on this over to Ealing Broadway, and then it's the last train of the slow run going in on the Central line to Bond Street. Then there's another, thankfully short, fast section from Bond Street down to High Street Kensington, and then from High Street Kensington it's pretty simple. So, you know, I think this is going quite well. So, I've made it to Ealing Broadway. It is 20 minutes past 6 in the evening. So I've been going for 4 hours and 50 minutes. There's this lovely old roundel. Isn't that nice? We're connecting onto the Central line here. And after we get to Bond Street on that, it's the next quick section, which mercifully is quite short. So let's have a look. It says Hainault by Newbury Park, 6 minutes. That's something of an L. Oh dear. I mean, I've been doing good for time, so I'm not too pissed. You know, actually, despite all the L's that I've taken today, we've been doing good for time. We're like, you know, four something hours in. I just said it, I don't know. 4 hours 50. And I'm already at the Ealing Broadway part of the challenge, which isn't bad. So, I'll get on this, and you'll join me at Bond Street for another gimbal stabilized connection run. Should have been a full one. Excuse me, sorry.
your Jubilee Line southbound service, boarding all stations westbound.
This station is lethal. Like Leicester Square, I avoid this station unless I can't. But my word, down to the pit. Let's go. And we're on to yet another pretty poor connection of 4 minutes. That's not good at all.
Please look after children on escalators and keep feet away from edges.
Those keep your belongings safe. Pickpockets operate at this station.
That was pretty good. I again pushed myself too hard for the first bit coming out the train. But I remembered that I was pushing myself too hard, and so just slowed down a bit. Took the escalator relatively easily, took the second set of stairs very easily. And there's a Circle Line train in 1 minute, which is very, very good. Normally I can't rely on the SSR for anything, but I mean, today's both proved that and disproved that, because, you know, Circle Line in 1 minute. When I saw that district pull in, I thought either that's my Circle Line train, I'm not going to make it, which clearly I could have made it, or that it was going to be a long wait for my circle line. But, you know, we moved. That was good. That was very fun. And that was the last sort of difficult, fraught connection of the challenge. Now is a relatively easy run through to Heathrow via High Street Kensington. And here's my Circle Line train. So, made it to High Street Kensington, and naturally the SSR has shagged itself. Oh no, 7 minutes. I mean, that's still bad, but this is the SSR. It could be even worse. 7 minutes until the next train that's going by Earl's Court. So, I've come to Turnham Green. Because, you know, Tube Challenge rules, you get the first train going vaguely in the right direction. But the challenge so far has gone really, really well. As I'm filming this, I'm about 6 hours and 10 minutes in, which isn't bad at all, really. And the Ealing Broadway train that I'm going to get to Acton Town is in 2 minutes. So that's quite nice. And also Piccadilly line non-stop through here most of the day. That's pretty fun, if you ask me. So, you know, after the sort of intro to Turnham Green, which I'm still at, my train's in 1 minute now. How's the challenge gone so far? That's something. So, apart from a few moments where I got quite lethargic towards the end of the fast run, which, frankly, I'm amazed I got through, it went really, really well. A lot of longer connections than I was expecting. A lot of running that I didn't really need to do. But, you know, to be here at sort of 6 hours, 10 minutes, I'm quite happy with. So, just got to Acton Town, and because of all the engineering work, Terminal 4 is only running every 15 minutes, and the next one is in 8. So again, not as bad as it could be, but, you know, I feel like there would have been a shorter wait here if it wasn't for the engineering works. Here's a train to Terminal 5. So, a little sit rep. I'm currently at Terminal 4, and we've got 12 minutes here. There were many places where this run could have fallen apart, but this is the single worst delay. And it's going to push my time over 7 hours. That's no fun. But these things happen. This is the London Underground. It's not meant to be run through like this. But it does mean I'm coming back for a rematch at some point. Snake 2 coming soon. However, that's for the future. For now, I've got to sit at Terminal 4 for 12 minutes. Which is, you know, I mean, I've never been here before, actually. When I'm done filming this, I'm going to probably pop onto the platform for a bit. This station looks kind of nice. And to think a 1938 stock went here, I believe, still in service. So, yeah, 12 minutes here, then on to Terminals 2 and 3, and down to T5. And that should be the run done. Gonna check the time right now. Currently on 6 hours, 55 minutes, and 44 seconds. So, you know, given the amount of L connections I've had, I don't think my time's doing too bad. And I think with that, I'll see you at Terminals 2 and 3. And so we arrive at Terminals 2 and 3. And the next train to Terminal 5 is in 12 minutes. This challenge ends just how it starts, with massive waits, doesn't it?
Piccadilly line, the train now approaching is to Heathrow Terminals 2.
So, we're arriving into Heathrow Terminal 5, the end of the Snake Challenge. I set off at 13:30 from Epping early this afternoon. It is now 20:53 and my time is 7 hours, 53 minutes and 20 seconds. So, I'm going to head home, and at some point, we'll recap. So, to wrap up, I've come to a station that we passed through on the route, the very, very beautiful Sudbury Town. It's one of my favourite stations on the network, and I came here actually to do some scouting for a university project, and I do a graphic design degree, so that sort of tells you how high I hold this station in terms of regard. But anywho, we're not here to talk about Sudbury Town, even though it is absolutely beautiful. As you can see behind me, that's the sort of main building sort of up there, and there's more sort of buildings down there, and there's a lovely footbridge that way. Anywho, we're here to talk about the what on earth you just saw. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the what on earth just happened in the last however long this video is. And well, that was very fun. First of all, I'm going to say that was an immense amount of fun. Even though it went wrong at numerous points, and I ended up having a time almost half an hour longer than I was hoping for, I'm not going to deny that that was really, really fun. So, I mean, I guess let's talk about where things went wrong, really, because there were a few of them, and some of them were my fault, some of them were TFL's. And sometimes things went wrong that were sort of not, like they didn't have any consequence, and I think they're also worth talking about. So I think right off the bat, I messed up at Epping by getting on the wrong train. I could have started 5 minutes later on the train behind the one I actually started on, and had a quicker connection at Woodford, which would have shrunk my overall time by 5 minutes. Even though, you know, even if everything else happened the same. Then, where did it go wrong next? Because Stratford was good. Hainault and Stratford, good. It was a bit of a long connection at Hainault. I won't lie, that was about 4 minutes. But I guess that was a sort of planned connection in the sort of timetable of the Central line. So that sort of makes sense. Then there was a connection at Stratford, which went really, really well. That was the first running connection, the first sort of long one. It wasn't really that long, but it was a really nice warm-up for what was to come at Waterloo. But Waterloo, That was really long, and I did not enjoy it at all. Like, it got off to a fine start. Going through the travelator was really good. There's a train. I can't even see the... Oh no, there it is. There's a westbound train going to Wood Green. The Piccadilly line is shut between Wood Green and Cockfosters today and for a little while, I think, because they're working on the line in sort of stages to make it ready for the 2024 stop. The new trains are being built by Siemens. So that affected today quite a lot near the end, because the Heathrow services were down to every 15 minutes each. I'll let that leave. So, where was I? I was at Waterloo. Waterloo connection started really, really well. I got out of the train, I was at the right door. Although that's a recurring theme, I did my homework. So, I guess where it sort of went wrong at Waterloo was just the sheer length of the connection. I didn't have the stamina for it, and that was right at the start, so that probably had a knock-on effect, and that's probably why I messed up the connection at King's Cross, which I'll get to. The connection at King's Cross was... Oh no, wait. No, I'm skipping ahead. I'm very good at this, if you can't tell. After Waterloo was Elephant Castle. Elephant Castle was a really, really good connection. I'm really happy with how Elephant Castle went as a connection. That was just off the Bakerloo, up the stairs, down a little bit of stairs, across a corridor. That was really, really good. I couldn't have asked for the Elephant Castle connection to go any better. And there was a train just like a little bit away in there. It was enough time that I could get my stuff in order. I could stop filming, I could prepare to take a note of which carriage I was on and the time that I got on it. Which you'll see as a recurring sort of the little captions throughout the video is like, this is the carriage number and the time that I got on it relative to starting the challenge. So that was good. I really like Elephant Castle. Stockwell was saved purely by how good the Victoria line is. If this was any other tube line that I was connecting onto a Stockwell, it wouldn't have been as good as it was. And that wasn't really to say that I was slow. This was still early game, I was still performing about as good as I could have. But Stockwell is Stockwell, and you know, Victoria line is Victoria line. I was waiting for 1 minute, and I got to show you guys how dusty it is down there. You could see it, it was like a haze. It was really, really bad. Some days are dustier than others on the underground. Just, you know, naturally you get busier and quieter days. There's a helicopter going overhead. Anywho, the next connection was a Victoria. Now, I have a feeling, I watched the Victoria connection back on my way up to Sudbury Town, and I watched the connection back at Victoria, and I hit this wall of people coming up to the District Line platform, and I reckon that was the District Line train before the one I ended up catching, and that's why I had such a long connection there. But I don't think I could have done Victoria much quicker. So maybe that's my L, maybe that's not. I don't know. Then Mile End. I think Mile End was the best connection of the day. Quick up, over, down, and as I got to the platform I tilted the camera back so that you guys could see what I was seeing, which were the headlights of my train just there on approach. It was... Mile End could not have gone any better, that's what I'm trying to get at. Then Liverpool Street. Liverpool Street was a nightmare. I nearly knocked someone over. That wasn't good. Don't do that. Watch where you're going, not your phone screen or whatever I was looking at. I think I was trying to sort of navigate because everything was pointing to the west, to the eastbound platform when I wanted the westbound. There is another announcement. Another theme of today is me getting interrupted by announcements. think it's done now. Moorgate went quite well. If I recall, I got held up on the escalators, but I think that was a good thing because it meant I paced myself properly and didn't end up falling down them, which would have been even worse because I would have had to, stop the challenge at that. My God, what is going on up there? Then Bank. Bank is, I think, the most important connection for the current state of the Snake Challenge because the Central Line, it now, the Central Line, well not the Central Line, what am I trying to say? The Northern Line, the new southbound platform and the new travelator between the Northern and the Central Line, so that's what I was trying to get at.
Verification
That,
is a criminal offence and can be
again, the travelator made that connection so much quicker and so much easier. Before, in 2019, you had to sort of go down, it was like a maze of corridors you had to go down, and then you had to go up one of those really horrible small spiral staircases to get up to the Central Line. It was a mess. And that's what all of Bank Station was like. But on my run today, out of the Northern Line, turn left, go down the escalators, go down the travelators, turn right, go up the escalators, and I'm there. That was so much easier. Holborn was very good. I loved the connection at Holborn. Probably second best to Mile End was Holborn because, again, that was just very straightforward. Up, out, or out, up, across, down. I did mess up at Holborn, but I think that's why it's the second best connection, because I think it shows that you can mess up a bit on these, because the tube runs at 2.5-3 minutes depending on which line you're on. You can mess up a bit and still make the same train because you've got that sort of 2 minutes or however long it is. And indeed, as I got down to the platform with the Piccadilly line, the train was right there, I just jumped on. Then Leicester Square. I stopped filming halfway through or towards the end of the Leicester Square connection because there was an old lady at the bottom of the stairs, if you remember from that point in the video, who was struggling with her big bag. And I think again this feeds into, you've got time with these connections. Even if you run it, even if you have to run them, you've still got time. And there's always time to do good with the Tube Challenge. We spend the day tearing through these stations, nearly knocking people over, scaring people sometimes. There's always time to do good, and I stopped recording so that I could help this old lady get her bag up the stairs. Now, on to Charing Cross. Charing Cross, I think, was one of the worst connections of the day, excluding the ones with horrendous wait times, which I'll get to. Big one, like the big problem I had, is that I just didn't have the energy to run that connection. But it's one that would have really benefited from being run, because it's so long and flat and straight. It's a really easy connection to run. But it's, I just didn't. I couldn't. I would have collapsed probably. These Tube Challenges really take it out of you, because you're doing all that down underground where there's not very good ventilation. It's hot. There's lots of other people. It can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes. But I don't think I would have made an earlier Bakerloo Line train had I run it. Oh, there's an electroliner over there. The reason for that is it arrived almost as soon as I got to the platform. It was pretty much get to the platform, get on the train. Small wait. I think if I'd run it, the best I'd get would be that I would have seen the doors close on the train in front and gotten mad. So you know what, I think I'm glad I walked it in the end, No, what's next? I'm doing this all from memory. I'm really impressed with myself. Charing Cross up to Oxford Circus. I did say at Oxford Circus that the route, like the sort of best connection route, is one that I already knew from the Victoria Line side. because I've used it so many times. At the back of the northbound platform, I think it's signposted from the Bakerloo line, but not from the Victoria. Southern end of the northbound platforms, there is an access corridor from the central line. And it's signposted to go that way from the central line, but not from the other line, so that, because it's quite a tight corridor, you can't really get two-directional flow of people through it. But that connection worked. And it would have been really, really good had it not been for the minor delays, I think it was still then, that were happening on Central Line at the time, that meant I had a 4-minute wait rather than the sort of 2 minutes that I should have had. But, you know, Tottenham Court Road went quite well, actually. I don't remember the Tottenham Court Road connection. It was so unremarkable. And I guess the same goes for the Warren Street connection. I don't really remember that one either. You know, I wasn't sort of being blocked by so many people. There's a train coming. It's on this side. There's a train going to Rayners Lane. That's a man. There's a train going to Rayners Lane. There's no Piccadilly line service to Uxbridge today because of the engineering works up at Cockfosters and Oakwood depots blocked off. So, yeah, I don't remember much about the Euston connection. There's a train probably going to Wood Green. I don't remember, or Euston, I don't remember much about the Warren Street connection. It went pretty well, it was quite smooth. Although that leg wasn't the smoothest because I accidentally got off at Euston. The one problem with the Snake Challenge is that there are multiple ways you can go on that section. You can either stay on the Northern Line through to Euston and change it there for the Victoria or Northern Line to King's Cross, or you can change at Warren Street. I almost changed at Warren Street for the Victoria Line to get to King's Cross, and then changed at Euston for the Northern Line to get to King's Cross. So don't do that. If you pick the Warren Street Victoria Line route, stick to it, don't get off at Euston. I was able to get back on the same train, so it didn't really matter, but you know, it saved a bit of a panic. Speaking of the King's Cross connection, speaking of King's Cross, the King's Cross connection, I ran too hard out of the train to the base of the escalators, and then I just didn't have the energy to run up them. So I just sort of walked up, and then both of you know, running out of the train too fast and walking up the escalators had just taken it out of me, and I could only walk the rest of the way to the subsurface platforms. So I got down to the subsurface platforms and I saw a Metropolitan Line train go, which was really annoying because the Metropolitan Line is also a much easier connection at Baker Street onto the Jubilee. So I might have even made the train ahead of the Jubilee Line train I did make at Baker Street, although that connection didn't go too bad. It was very busy though. Even though I was sort of pinning all my hopes on getting the Bakerloo Line connection, I did note down the door position for the Circle Line platforms perfectly. It was straight off the train onto the stairs. It was brilliant. But again, did not have the energy to run that connection. Then Baker Street up to Wembley Park, that leg was just a nice breather from all of the mayhem that I'd just done. After that came the connection at Wembley Park, which drama. So I didn't have my phone in my stabilizer because I thought it would be a very easy cross-platform connection. But as we were pulling in, I saw a fast Amersham service next to us. And at this point, I was thinking, when am I going to be able to get a drink? So I was like, I was thinking to myself, can I make this and go to Harrow, get a drink at Harrow very quickly and then come back? Or not come back, and then get an Uxbridge train from Harrow. So I ran over to the fast Amersham train, and a guy did try to stop the doors from closing by putting his foot in between them to let me on, which was very nice, very appreciated. But the way the S-stop doors work meant that they just closed again when he released his foot, rather than opening and closing again. So I had to wait for the next train behind that, and I still managed to get drinks at Harrow, just it was a bit of a tighter connection. Still made it. I had 3 minutes at Harrow in the end, so it wasn't too bad. Rayners Lane was a really cozy, a really comfy connection, plenty of time, but it wasn't too long. Ealing Common, 7 minutes. I was expecting 4 or 5. So I was a little bit disappointed there, but not too bad. Ealing Broadway was a nightmare. I got to the Central Line platforms, I knew I would probably have a little bit of time, and it wasn't that long wasn't that long of a walk, even though we went into platform 7, not platform 8, which is the best one. I got to the Central Line platforms, and first train wasn't for 6 minutes, which, whoa, you don't expect that. And sure enough, I checked TfL Go as I was on that Central Line train, and the delays on the Central Line had been upgraded from minor to severe. So, that's not great. But, you know, we got the train. So, Bond Street connection. Come to think of it, I can't remember that one. I think I was straight onto a Jubilee Line train. The Jubilee Line train was in the platform in Bond Street, I think. Green Park was next. Green Park connection. Green Park's connection is quite interesting because the way that they have you go at Green Park to get between the lines is to use these really, really long corridors. I'm pretty sure I'm sure they are direct, but they feel like they're way longer than they need to be. And they certainly go from like the furthest ends of the platform from each line. So it's certainly not super helpful if you're trying to, you know, make that connection as quickly as possible. But there is one little saving grace in the escalator trick, which if you go through the ways out, and take the escalators up to the concourse, it can be quicker, particularly from the Victoria line to the Piccadilly, to get the connection done. I think it is marginally quicker for the Jubilee line, but I'm not sure. But that connection, I did pretty well at it. I'm quite happy with my ability to do that connection quickly. But the problem on the Piccadilly line struck again, and it was pretty long wait compared to what it should be. Then South Kensington, that connection, I could not have asked for anything better. I normally avoid the Circle line, particularly the southwestern portion of it, because it's so unreliable. But today it pulled through, and I'm really, really happy about that. Then High Street Kensington. I got down, I did the quick up and over, and that was good. But as I got down to the platform, the Wimbledon train, which was the first one due, thankfully, didn't have a time next. It said delay, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And then it quickly changed to 7 minutes, which not good. Not good. That was not good. I was not happy with that connection. Earl's Court, however, was very good. I decided that I would connect onto a Richmond train and change at Turnham Green for an Ealing Broadway train that would take me the rest of the way to Acton Town. Just because Turnham Green's a nicer place to wait than Earl's Court. Less busy mostly. And that was just, our two trains pulled in at the same time. My Wimbledon train and the Richmond. And the Ealing Broadway train was like 3 or 4 minutes behind that, so that was pretty good. Then Acton Town. Acton Town was cross-platform, but with an 8-minute wait, it was not good. Again, due to the problems, the engineering work on the Piccadilly line that's blocked off Oakwood Depot. Yeah, that wasn't good. The Heathrow services each are down to every 15 minutes. No, do not attempt a snake challenge when that is the case, because you're gonna get a long connection somewhere, and I ended up getting the long connection twice, which I'll get on to. Got to Terminal 4, or got to Terminals 2 and 3, and driver announced that, well, not Terminals 2 and 3, Hand Cross. And the driver said that they would be waiting for 12 minutes, which, even on the maps, on the Piccadilly line maps, they say up to 8. So this was way beyond what I was expecting. But you know, I'd never been to Terminal 4 before, so I got the opportunity to take a picture on the platform. And then got round to Terminal 2 and 3, and it was a 12-minute wait for a Terminal 5 train, and I was not happy with the Piccadilly line today. It did not do very well. But we move. Rematch is in order. Final time was 7 hours, 23 minutes and 20 seconds, so could have gone worse. Snake 2, when?